Hey guys, how's it going? Um, I'm sure you're wondering what this video is going to be about. However, if you guys either read the title or read the comments or read the description, you're probably going to know that it's about 500 series LEDs and sticking them in a Dashmiser housing. Um, One of the reasons I love Wheelin's products is they have several different product lines. They have like the 500 series LEDs, on the 400 series LEDs, the 800s, no, excuse me, 700s, the 900s, and all those different light heads correspond to an earlier light head or the newer light heads like the 4M, the 9M, um, and they're all the basic same shape and size. The Dashmisers have what are called 52 series strobes. It's a little bit older than the 500 series, but they're pretty much the same exact size, um, same exact everything. You can kind of see that that looks like a red and blue Dashmiser now, but I take this away, and you can see it's the original. The lenses are a little bit off from how I've played around with it, but that shouldn't be too much of a difference because I'm not switching out the lenses. First thing we got to do, and you guys will have to excuse me if you miss some things. I'm not working with a very good angle. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take apart the Dashmiser. I might end up fast forwarding through some of these parts, but it shouldn't take me too long to do any of this because I've done it about a half a dozen times, so I know I get it right. The end cap of the Dashmiser is held on by 3 screws, fairly simple to take out. And once you take these out, then that frees up everything on the inside. You can see as you look in there, you have your 52 series strobe, your power supply, and your power connector. Power connector, real simple, 2-pin plug, pulls out, and there's that cord. We'll pull out the strobes next. They just slide out. They run along this little track on the inside, as you can see here and here. And that'll disconnect with one of those fancy 3-pin connectors that Wheelin is so famous for using with everything. Pull out the second strobe, and again, you pull out that fancy 3-pin connector. So here's your old strobes. You can see the comparison. It's pretty much the same size, shape, everything like that. Even the depth. The depth is about the same, as you can kind of see here. But this is a linear strobe and this is a linear LED. And I think LEDs are a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and stick these out of the way. Next thing we got to worry about is the strobe power supply. But again, that's easy to remedy. 2 screws, and you pop it right out. And now you have a strobe power supply from a Wheelin Dashmiser. This one only has the one pattern. It's the quad flash, but it's still it's a good warning pattern. I think it's pretty much an industry standard anywhere. Put these screws back in here so I don't lose them, because that would be bad. By the way, in case any of you are curious as to what I'm going to do with these, probably going to sell the strobe power supply and the strobes, because I don't need them. So if any of you are interested, let me know. We got our 500 series LEDs, which are pretty simple. These should, in theory, just slide on in, just like that. However, I think I'm going to do the other one first, just because I got the power cords on this one. So I'll plug that in. there you have it. We'll kind of tuck all these cables back in here. And there's just one more thing I gotta do. And that is determine which one is my power and ground. That would be... Okay, I got that. Just gotta hook it up to power. They never made a tool for splitting apart the dual shield wires. There we go. Just strip off a little bit of each of the ends of these. And we're using 16 to 14 gauge wire crimp connectors. Actually, no, you know what? I think I'm going to switch it out. And I'm going to use some quick disconnects, just in case I ever want to quick disconnect it. So give me a second. I'll use blue for that one. I like to use 2 different colors. And that's just for the simple fact of so I know which one goes into what. The only problem I can foresee right now is there we go. I'll use 2 of these. And I'll see if I can't find another one of these. If I can't, I'll just use something else. Well, that's all I got, guys. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark these. That way I know. I'd recommend that to anyone. If you're doing anything with lights or wiring them, anything like that, I'd always recommend marking at least one of them, which one's the positive. I think that's just more of what am I thinking of? I think it helps me out so that I know and don't forget. Because if you, some of these products, if you do it wrong, if you put power to something that shouldn't have power or ground out something that needs power, then you can burn out light heads, which I've actually done before. And it sucks to get a new light head and power it backwards and have it burn out, and then you have to get a new one. And I've actually learned a lot of different things. I wired up my truck completely with all the emergency lights and everything that's on it. And in that short time period of doing it, I have made several different mistakes, some of which were unavoidable. However, I've learned from them, and because I've learned from them, now I know what to do, what not to do, always fusing things. And I'm sure for a lot of you guys, that's just one of those, well, duh, you're supposed to fuse things. Well, I got a buddy who never fused anything. He hasn't had a problem yet, but if something gets wired backwards, which has actually happened, the wires can get really hot, especially the LEDs. They can get really hot. So we'll just do that. Alright, that's all wired up. So I'll tuck these wires in here. What are we at? 950? Alright. Well, YouTube's allowing me to upload 15-minute videos now, which I found out, which is freaking awesome. So I can go over 10 minutes. put our end cap back on. You got the 3 screws again. I already preset the patterns and everything, but to do that while this light is on is no problem whatsoever. So the 1, 2, 3, they're all in. I also have the windshield mounts for these. The only problem is they don't have the suction cups, so I'd need to get suction cups, but that wouldn't be a problem to get. It's not the perfect fit in the world, but for just a quick 10-minute dash light swap out, I don't think it's too bad at all. So and what the heck, we'll just run downstairs really quick and jog out to my car and test it. I don't feel like editing out anything. You guys will get a free ride with me. Anyway, there's my little kit filled with everything I need electrical wise, which worked out great.